everyone, it's Rose and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my November wrap up, and as always I have a stupid amount of books to talk to you about. So this month I read 26 books. 22 of them were physical books, which sounds great. I must have got so many books off of my physical TBR. 10 of them were rereads. They're all part of a series, but like 12 is a lot less impressive than 22 books off my physical TBR. I read some amazing books this month. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun. So let's just get straight into it. But of course, going to start with physical books, and then we'll go to the 4 books that I don't have physical copies of at the end, because it's easier for me to just show you on the screen. I'm going to go pretty much in order, although there's a series that I read throughout the month. I'm just going to group them all together. So we're not going in complete order, but kind of. I started off the month by reading fantasy books for a week. That video is out, and I read Fourth Wing in it. Oh my goodness, the lighting is just something else with this book. So this is by Rebecca Yarros. I rated this 5 stars. I cried at the ending. You can go see my thoughts in more detail in that video. It is spoiler free. I don't need to explain this book. I do need to fix this lighting. Everyone has seen this book. This is a fantasy book. War College, dragons, heartbreak. Rated at 5 stars. I love it. Can't wait for the next one. Then I filmed a video where I read a page every time I picked up my phone for a week, which again, spoiler free on my channel, but I managed to read I think 5 books in that video. Maybe, so let's talk about them. I read Normal Woman by Ainsley Hogarth. This was so kindly sent to me by Atlantic Books. It is coming out in January. This book was so good. I rated it 4 stars. Ainsley Hogarth writes books in a way I've never seen done before. She writes comedic horrors, and just the way she writes books where like it's so mundane to the characters, but to us it's so horrifying. It's just so good. This is about normal women. It's about this mother who, I don't know, I feel like she thinks there needs to be more to her life than just being a mother and a doting wife where the husband goes out and gets the money and she just stays home and looks after the baby, and then she goes and sees all her other friends who are normal women mothers and they all have the same lives. Very creepy stuff happens which I don't want to tell you about. It was very good. I definitely recommend. Check trigger warnings. It's horror, but it doesn't feel like horror because it's comedic horror. This book is hard to explain. Go in blind, honestly. It's really good. Then we have A Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I rated this one 4.5 stars. I love this book so much. It has plus size representation, depression representation, anxiety representation, I think Jewish representation. This was just so good. This is about a girl who works for the news for the weather. The guy is in sports, and their bosses they were married and now they have broken up, and they are just like terrorizing, making the place they work so uncomfortable because they're just constantly arguing with each other. And these two get together, they're like, we need to make them fall back in love because I cannot deal with being so on edge in the building. Maybe they fall in love in the process. It was really good. It was really sweet, and it had some deep and important topics, and I really loved it. 4.5 stars. I read The Villa by Ruth Kelly. I read this in like 4 hours. This book's over 400 pages and I just sat and binged it. This was so kindly sent to me by my friend Ellen. Thank you. I rated this one 4 stars. This is, I saw Read with Loz on TikTok talk about this book, and the way she described it is Love Island meets Big Brother meets murder. And you know what? I have to agree. It's kind of like Love Island, where they put a bunch of contestants on this island to find love, but the audience get to influence everything and they can tune in 24/7 like Big Brother. But our girl has gone in an undercover journalist to try and expose what it's really like, and a murder happens. That happens like in the first chapter. The murder happens, and then you go back and you have to try and figure out who's dead, who killed them, why. It was so good. So many twists and turns. The only reason it wasn't higher than 4 stars is because I feel like the ending kind of, the reveals we got in the ending could have happened before the time jump, if that makes sense. If you've read this book, you know what I mean. So like the big event happens and then the ending is like 3 months later, whereas I feel like we didn't really need that to be so long. We could have had the things you find out there happen before the 3 months later, but I did really enjoy this book. 4 stars. Then I read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the sequel to When in Rome. This is, he's a bodyguard for her brother's wife. Because in When in Rome, there's a pop star that goes to a small town, right? So it's the pop star's bodyguard and the small town guy's sister. She gets her own story. This is fake dating, friends to lovers. It was so cute. All of Sarah Adams' books are closed door, so no spice. It was very, very good. Oh, this cover is gorgeous. I rated it 4 stars. I read Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the sequel to Icebreaker. This is about 2 people who meet at a party. They have like a one-night stand, and then they both end up at the same summer camp. They're like camp counselors, and they're like, oh my god, like this is so awkward, but and then they become friends, and then it's like they both want more, but and they just, it was so sweet. This also deals with some deeper topics. Check trigger warnings. They both have really messed up families, let's just put it that way, and they definitely go through a lot, and I'm so glad they got the happy ending. I cannot wait for book 3. It's gonna be Henry's book. Oh my goodness. If you've read Icebreaker, you know why I'm so excited. I rated this one 4.5 stars. It was so good, and again, these covers, they're just so cute. Then I read Twisted Lies by Anna Huang, and I rated this one 4.5 stars as well. This was a big book, and I loved every single second of it. No one told me this book was fake dating. How dare you guys? Oh, this book was so good. This is about Christian and Stella. He's like a billionaire, and she is an influencer, and she rents like an apartment in one of his apartment blocks, and he like lowered the rent by like 5k just from looking at her. He just, oh, love and morally grey man, because he's also a killer. She needs more followers because she gets fired from her job and she can't afford to pay for this lady's care. I don't think I can tell you who she is, but she's important to Stella. So Stella's paying for her care in secret. She can't afford to pay for it, so she's like, if I get more followers, I can get more brand deals, and if I get more followers, I can be like, she's in competition to be a brand ambassador, and she's like, everyone who's getting more followers right now, it's because they're in relationships, so like, how about we fake a date? I won't show your face, I'll just like show the fact that there's a man in my pictures, and I'll go to all your events with you in return, but like, it blurs the line. They maybe fall in love, some crazy stuff happens in the last 200 pages. 4.5 stars, I loved it. I know I'm really bad at always explaining these books, but it's because I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'm being really careful what I say. Next up, we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I rated this one at 3.5 stars. This book is about a girl who cannot die, but every time she does something that would result in anyone else's death, she sees death himself. He's like a person, but you only see him when you're gonna die. This book started off so strong. I was like, oh my god, I'm loving this. And then we hit like 30% mark and I got really bored. I was like, maybe this is gonna be like a 3 stars. Then the last chapter happened and I bumped it up to 3.5 stars because I need the sequel now. I downloaded it on my Kindle. I'm gonna be reading the sequel. Oh my goodness. I rated this 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it in the end. It was a bit slow though. Then we have 4 Past Midnight by Stephen King. This book, I rated it overall 4 stars, but there are 4... He calls them novellas, but they're all like, some of them are 300 plus pages. But that's short for him. There's 4 books in here. The first one is called The Langoliers. I rated it 3.5 stars. It's about... I feel like you have to go into these books blind. There's a plane, something happens where everyone who's asleep suddenly wakes up and everyone who was awake is gone. And they got to figure out what's going on because where the hell's the pilot? He was awake, so he must have been gone. It's really creepy. I rated it 3.5 stars because it was quite long. It was like 300 pages and I feel like it should have been one of the shorter books in this book, but it was still good. And then the next one was Secret Window, Secret Garden. I rated that one 4 stars. I don't want to tell you anything about it. I'm pretty sure it's a movie. It was really good. Very creepy. 4 stars. Oh my god, it was so weird. The third one is The Library Policeman. I rated this one 4 stars. Please check trigger warnings for all of them, but specifically that one, check trigger warnings. I can't explain to you what this book is about because I don't even know. There's some crazy stuff that happens. I rated it 4 stars. It was really good. It freaked me out so much. Ugh. And then the last one is The Sun Dog. I rated it 3.5 stars. This is about a boy who gets a camera for his birthday, but it doesn't take, when he tries to take pictures, it's not taking pictures of what's in front of him. It's taking pictures of like this house. And then you notice there's a dog in the back garden, and the more he takes pictures, the closer the dog gets to the camera lens. Ugh, creepy, freak me out. Okay, then we have my reread of my favourite series ever. I finished my reread of the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. I don't even know how I'm going to bring these books over here to show you. Okay, we had to change locations, so a couple things. If you hear snoring, it's my dog. I tried to bring all these books downstairs in one go and terrified the puppies because they all fell out of my hands. So there's 2 puppies down there. So let's talk about the Skullduggery Pleasant series. Every single book in that series is 5 stars. I reread the first 3 books last month, and I completed the series this month. I reread books 4 to 13, and then I read books 14 and 15 for the first time ever. I finally finished the series. Every single book is 5 stars, like I said. I've talked about this series so much, but just a quick little, I can't even tell you what it's about because I've tried to explain it so many times, but it's young adult, low fantasy. It's really funny. It's set in Ireland. All of my humour came from these books because I grew up reading them, and they are just, the sarcasm and the dry humour is just amazing. So I'll just tell you the names of the books that I've already read. We have book 4, Deathbringer, like I said, 5 stars. We have book 5, Morsel Coil. Book 6, Deathbringer. Are you really gonna snore through my whole video? Okay. Book 7, Kingdom of the Wicked. Book 8, Last Stand of Dead Men. And book 9, The Dying of the Light. Now let's move on to the second stack. Book 10, Resurrection, and this is where you get to phase 2. So the first 9 books are phase 1, and then you have a 5-year break, and then you get to phase 2, which is what all of these books are. So we have book 10, Resurrection. We have book 11, Midnight. Book 12, Bedlam. These books are getting really big. I'm so sorry about the snoring. We have book 13, Seasons of War, and that was where I'd got up to last time, but I finally read books 14 and 15 for the first time. It was so fun. We have Dead or Alive, book 14, and then we have Until the End. This is my signed limited edition, Sprayed Edges. This, oh my goodness, I can't even talk about it because I haven't processed it yet. This series is amazing. I had so much fun. I'm so glad I finally got to the last few books. I was always too scared to read them, but now Derek Landy, the author, has announced that he's going to be writing more in the series, so I was like, okay, I can finish them now because I know it's not over. I also read Armageddon Out of Here, which is a bunch of short stories that all take place like in between all the books. So I was reading them in between, but obviously because I finished the series, I finished the book. I rated it 4 stars because I really love seeing anything to do with this world. There were a few stories that I didn't love, which is why it wasn't 5 stars, but I did really enjoy it. Okay, so those are the 22 physical books I read. Now I have 4 books. I'm pretty sure I read them all on my Kindle. So the first one I read was Girl Remastered by Jessica Jocelyn. This was a poetry book. I haven't rated it because I'm pretty sure it's about the author's own experiences. This book, I'm gonna tear up thinking about it because it's in, I think, 4 sections. One is about a toxic relationship. One is about, I think, an abusive home life. I can't remember what the third one is, but the 4th one is being late diagnosed autistic, which is my life story. So Many of the poems made me cry because I felt so seen. Please check trigger warnings, but this book was just wonderful. I need to move on because I'm gonna start crying. Yay, moving on. I read Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is the 4th book in the Chestnut Springs series. I rated it 5 stars. It's small town cowboy romance. It was so good. Oh my goodness, it made me cry so many times, broke my heart and put it all back together. 5 stars. I am scared to read the 5th and final book, Hopeless, because I don't want it to be over. I really don't. Then I read The Wrong Suitcase by Laura Jane Williams. This is a novella that I got from my library and I rated it 1 star. Hated it so much. It was insta-love. The guy had been broken up with like 6 hours before and then he got with this girl. I was like, I'm not rooting for you guys. Like, neither of you should be in relationships right now. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the writing either. I honestly just finished it out of hate because it was only like 100 pages. I was like, I refuse to give up. Prison Planet Barbarian by Ruby Dixon. I love Ruby Dixon's books when you're just looking for something quick, funny. I think I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. I don't know because I literally just finished it, but it was just fun. Like, I just love her books. They do check trigger warnings because, oh my goodness. But like, reading about aliens is just so funny to me because it's not confusing like a lot of sci-fi books are. It's just like bizarre and in the best way. That is all 26 books I read in November. I'm sorry if this video was a bit all over the place. I had to change locations. We have a snoring dog in the background. It was a lot, but I really did. I enjoyed all the books. I definitely didn't enjoy all the books. I enjoyed quite a few of the books I read in November. Honestly, how many books am I at? I think I'm at like 275 books read this year. And I kind of think I want to try and read 300 by the end of the year, which means I have to read like 25 books in December. Which I'm going to be busy in December, so I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't make that goal. If I don't do that, I didn't fail because this wasn't an official goal. But anyway, let me know what your favourite read of November was. Let me know what your plans are for your reading month of December. I had so much fun. I'm not going to be filming a December TBR because I'm still getting through my 24 books I want to read before the end of 2024. So like, my December TBR is just to finish that list. There's no point in me making a TBR video because it's just going to be all the same books you've already seen. So go check out my 24 books before 2024 video. I read quite a few of them in November and you'll be able to see that if you've watched that video. I need to go because my words are just not forming correctly. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more from me, please be sure to like and subscribe as I post new videos every single week. I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you in another video. Bye!